Yeah, so welcome to the why your practice isn't showing up on AI search and how to fix it fast. And I just want to ask a question, if it will let me. What is my question? All right, how many of you ever asked ChatGPT or another tool recommend a therapist near me just to kind of see where you're at? See it? Yeah, okay, yeah, I see those hands. All right. How many of you are diving deep into AI? Like just like Claude's like, hey, you've used up your credits. Like, do not pass go, do not collect 200. Yeah, max. Okay, all right. Oh, good. All right. Well, at the end of yeah, yeah, take my money. Yeah. All right. So here's the practice owners they want their website and digital assets to show up in AI search results. Okay. So that's the plan. But many practice owners don't understand AI and how it recommends websites. Our websites and assets may not be optimized for AI recommendations. So this is kind of the problem we're going to be tackling. So I'm Brent. I'm the founder of TheraSaaS. That's my that's my lovely wife. I got into TheraSaaS by doing a ton of marketing for my wife's practice. She's a group practice, private pay. She has 12 clinicians. Then I also launched, partnered with other practice owners across the country to help launch and scale up their practice. So I was very much invested in growing because it was a revenue-based model, sharing. So I would only get paid if they got paid. And so I was very much interested in getting them ranked on Google Ads. So I've done all the marketing, all the things throughout the last 8 years. And so TheraSaaS came along because if you do your marketing well, Google Sheets can only take you so far in being able to manage client leads. And so you need a CRM. And in the advent of what I call big therapy that came in with all the venture capital money, that came in, especially during COVID, it sucked up a lot of the market share. So practice owners are having to take their marketing more seriously. And just like you have QuickBooks for your finances and EHR for your operations, you need a CRM for your sales and marketing. Okay, so I'll share about that in a little bit. So here's the plan for today is we're going to talk about the foundation of AI search, my tactical playbook for AI search, and then a live demo workshop. Let's dig in a little bit. Okay, so part one, foundation, and I'm going to go fast. I'm recording this and you guys can all have this recording at the end, okay? Plus some other goodies if you give me your email. All right, so defining terms, a couple things. GEO or AEO, one of the ladies mentioned it this morning. That's just generative engine optimization. So it's like SEO for AI platforms. So here's how Lee sees it. AI search is the category, just like Google search is like a category. AI SEO is the practice, just like regular SEO that we've known. And then AI visibility is the outcome. All right, so I'm going to use AI search a lot in this. Some of the largest AI search tools, you have Claude, OpenAI, Gemini, Grok. Perplexity uses all of them. Copilot, you can see here, is enmeshed into OpenAI. By the way, Google owns, I think we heard yesterday, Nate, 20% of Anthropic with Claude. Like they're all like enmeshed and invested in one another. Top cited domains on LLMs. So like what are they searching? The LLMs are searching for to pull up information to make recommendations. Reddit is number one, Wikipedia, YouTube, Google, and Yelp. And we're going to see how some of those get played out. All right, but those are the big players that are leaning on. Traditional SEO product. Think of it like this way: traditional SEO is like products on the store shelf. LLM recommendations are store employee recommends what they think would work for you. So, this isn't TMI, so too much information. So I needed a new pair of, I'm a big fan of Lululemon pants. I've worn them for like 3 years. Well, they eventually got some holes and it was my birthday. So I went back into Lululemon after 3 years and I said, I need a new pair of pants. And so they actually changed their lines a little bit. And so this lady was like, I think I would recommend these, right? Because they had all these pants you can choose from, but she's like, actually, I think these would work. And so here I am in my new Lululemon pants, right? But that's different, right? So you walk into the store and you're seeing all the things. Well, now you have to do all that research yourself and determine. An LLM sort of like the store employee comes like, hey, tell me a little bit about what you're looking for, and then I'm going to make some recommendations. Okay, that's what an LLM is doing. So AI search is probabilistic technology just by its very nature. You do 100 prompts, you're going to get a ton of variation, and we're going to test that a little bit later on. So what does it mean by AI being probabilistic? That means there's just no one single answer that it's going to surface for you every single time. Just like SEO is deterministic, that's how I made money back in the day, where you can actually rank a website, right? Deterministic. Therapist near me, predetermined, determined. It's going to be towards the top if you do the right thing. With AI, you just don't know. You can influence some of these results, but it's not deterministic. So, for example, my child needs a counselor. What can you recommend in the Hinsdale area? That is a prompt. This is my wife's practice. I'm like, all right, this was just, I think last week. I'm in incognito mode in Claude. Don't let it fool you. It knows you and may surface your favorite practices. So just so that, but here, look, top pick, Kid Matters Counseling, 4.9 stars, 159 reviews. They're pulling that information from Google Business, okay? The one that stands out because they specifically focus on children. Reviews consistently mention counseling who are warm, patient, and naturally connected with kids. Because we have a Google review strategy, and also some friends and family, I said, please say certain things. It's just pulling from that, and it's building trust. It's corroborating with some of this information also on the website. And then they have other options, but also look at the niche. The niche is very strong. And I think LLMs like to see strong niches because it's going to give them confidence in what they are going to recommend. Let's take a look at ChatGPT. Top child options in his. All right, Kid Matters Counseling. We got a big brain next to it, emoji. So Kid Matters, right? And wait, 3.7. What's going on? Stinking Yelp. Look at that. So Yelp, they're pulling. And I was like, oh, we got a problem with Yelp, because I'm going to have a case study what we did with Yelp, because we did not have a 3.7 review, which, by the way, in Yelp terms, that's like a 5-star. But we had like a 2 point something. So I do a little case study like how we had to influence that, because ChatGPT or Gemini was like, they didn't even recommend Kid Matters at all. They had a different criteria in which they were recommending. And I was asking, it was like, we wanted to go more community based. So that was fascinating, especially because Gemini is stinking Google and we have 159 Google reviews. What the heck's going on? And then Grok was just too busy. High demand. It couldn't. LLMs are trained on data once per year. It's a snapshot in time. Okay. So they're going to feed the data. They're going to learn it. Oh, the LLM's filled with all this data. And then if they don't have information about you, then they're going to supplement it with internet searches. Okay, so you notice on the Google, or on the, you'll see like thinking, and then search, right? They're just going out and trying to get all this information as fast. I'm going to get a little in the weeds here because you have to understand how LLMs are thinking. So traditionally you put a search therapist near me and Google, and it would surface, and the algorithm will pull that information up. Now, what Gemini and all these other LLMs are doing, they're doing dozens of synthetic searches. So what does that mean? Look up query here. What are the best kid therapists for ADHD in Hinsdale area? And then what it does is it creates all these sub searches, synthetic searches. Average cost of child ADHD therapy in Hinsdale area, CBT versus behavioral, child ADHD therapists in DuPage County is where they're at, child psychologists especially. It's doing all of these searches at the same time, gathering all that information and then making a recommendation. So this gives you a little idea of what maybe your websites need to be thinking about, like what's the content on your website, because they're looking for answers. And I have a tool that I can show you at the end. It's also going to tell, it's going to say what preferred method of how it's going to display that information. Is it a listicle? Is it bullet points? Is it a table information? Really fascinating. So it's completely different than a traditional Google search. How AI systems discover and cite content. So you have that query like I just showed you, then it's going to go to the web. It might pull like YouTube videos. It's going to go to a form, it's like Reddit, but there are other forms as well. Directories and reviews. It's going to collect all that information. Remember, it's an employee. It's going to make a recommendation for you. It's going to synthesize all that, and then it's going to give you an answer. Here are the major, what I've in my research, you have your brand, you do a search, it's going to go to Reddit, your website. So your website content matters. ThriveWorks, Psychology Today, Good Therapy, Therapy Denza, they're referencing these directories. Industry publications, social media platforms, and then review sites. This is what I found in my research in which LLMs are kind of going out to make a recommendation. So what does that mean? You need to find where brands are being mentioned on LLMs and get there. You got to find out. You got to find out where they're searching, which changes everything now. Go ahead. Yeah.
2 questions. Is this why I don't know if you're in mental health, I was wondering why they were on Reddit. Is this possibly why they're potentially on Reddit?
Oh yeah, Reddit's a cesspool, but yeah, you have to get on like
Yeah.
all this right now. All those the LMs are looking on Reddit because it's user generated content. They value that.
Okay, and then my second question was, I was also in a webinar where they talked about case studies also helping you get kind of like if you have any kind of like clinical study or case studies on your website, the AI
Yeah,
can also.
yeah. I mean, that's unique content that AI can't generate. So that's a unique approach if you can do that. But it just depends on does that synthetic search look at it. I'm not black pilled at this point, but like Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Health or Mayo Clinic, like all these big players have started getting into the mental health space and writing all these articles. And so it's just hard for small private practice to even rank or for LMs to even care about you because they're going to be going to those big hospital systems to get that information. So case studies is actually a really unique way to stand out. Really is. I'm doing them from TheraSaaS.
You could do them in like a blog.
Yeah. I mean, something. Yeah, you're going to get on your website in some way. Yeah. So AI and hurting people are looking for the same thing, someone they can trust. Just think about it. It's like they're trying to replicate they're trying to become more human in some ways, I guess, but they're looking for someone they can trust. So trust is the new filter. So for consumers, trust drives action. For AI, trust is going to drive recommendations. All right. So your new framework is like you're not trying to game AI, you're really trying to build a brand and the kind of practice that deserves to be recommended. So things in the real world that you're doing is really important to build a brand. That's also going to trickle over into AI as well. Okay. So a couple more things before we get into strategies. A growing percentage of discovery and consideration is being done in AI environments. So what does that mean? Discovery, they're going to go to AI and just do the initial research, right? Because it's going to produce hopefully some helpful recommendations. And then people go to Google to verify that research that AI is recommending. So Google's still like important. So there's this trend that not everyone trusts AI. So they're going to verify it a second way and they're going to go to Google to do that. And then they're going to read your Google business profile and your website, read all those reviews, check out the therapists. Like we're starting to see this in TheraSaaS reports here. We're seeing that ChatGPT and other AIs are starting to be recommended. So the problem is there's a visibility cliff. So if you're in the bottom 50% of Google web mentions, you're basically invisible to AI. Because AI doesn't have time to do 12 pages deep of a search, right? They're going to get just those top recommendations because, hey, Google or whatever, they must trust them to recommend them. We're going to take that data and then compile it and see if that matches up with the other data that those synthetic searches that they're doing. Okay. I'm going to stop here. Any questions? Is this helpful? Helpful day? Okay. Got it. Good. Are you scared? No, not really. Okay. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about my playbook and how I'm thinking about some of the practices that I help, especially my wife's practice, but even TheraSaaS as well. Own your digital foundation. So LLMs are still grounded in local SEO and organic SEO. Like I just showed you, you have Yelp, Google reviews, like they're pulling from that. And again, just to reorient is, I think this is a helpful graph. All right, so they're going to go to your website for recommendations. So this was research that was done 2026 local search rankings by Whitespark. And so what I did was let's just look at the top 3 here. So you have your local packs, that's your Google Maps. I guess I could just do this. This is your Google Maps. And this is like your local organic rankings. After you get through all the things on Google, you have organic still. And then you have AI search factors. So I was like, all right, let's highlight what are some of the commonalities. So review signals are going to be important for local, for Google. And then also review signals is also for AI search. And then you have on-page signals, both for local pack, local organic, and AI search. So what are on-page signals? They're like your H1 title tags, like just kind of basic technical SEO. You're telling Google, you're telling these LLMs what your page is about, all that information. They need that. Keyword usage, URL structure. All right. So you kind of have to have, this is table stakes now. Just talk to your web developer or ask Claude or whatever to say, hey, scan my website. Do I have H1s on my main pages here? What am I missing? What do I need to update? I do go really deep on a YouTube video that I can send to you on this, and I think this is just helpful for you to understand some of the technical aspects, because it's really important now to get this right. Now, also, action 2 here is clean up your Google business profile. This was recommended earlier. A couple things. Your reviews are important. I'm going to be doing a webinar with Kate Fish, and we're going to be talking about this because reviews are so important, but ethically you cannot ask people, clients for reviews. So how are you going to get reviews? We're going to talk about how to do that. And then also your categories. Those are the two most important things. There's one called like mental health clinic. Don't do that. These are actually, these keywords, these will influence your Google rankings. So if you're a marriage counselor, make sure you have marriage counseling as the primary one. When people cite counselor for me or therapist near me, you don't surface as much mental health clinics because that's not a key word. So just make sure you have counselor or child by the way, if you work with children, have child psychologist, although even if you don't have a PhD, because for Google it's semantics. So they don't know the difference between a psychologist and a therapist. So if you work with kids, because there's like a keyword matching, because when someone doesn't search mental health clinic near me, it's therapist near me, it's counselor near me. So that's just right now, you're just seeing Google weighs the category based on the keyword right now for Google Business. There could be a lot more to go in, but just double check that. Those are 2 things you can do. Action step 3, here's kind of how I see like tiers. Essential tier is Google Business, Bing, Psychology Today, and Yelp. I have a warning sign next to Yelp, which I'll get to. And then if you have any niches or certifications, try to get on their directories. Make sure your website's on that directory, okay? And be sure you have that certification badge on your website too. That could be helpful. All right, here's that case study. So February 2026, I was like, getting ready to do a presentation on this. Let's see what's going on. Oh, the LMs are recommending Yelp 2.3 and 3 reviews, 2.3. So the good news was we could have a few more reviews and make a difference. So Yelp 2.3 stars for Kid Matters, and then Google Business was 4.9. So like really good. But you can see this is where we focused on was Google Business for the longest time because it was the most important. So what I also did was Apple Business Connect. So Apple Maps was pulling in from Yelp. Yeah, yours is like, yep. Bing is pulling in from Yelp. MapQuest, no joke. LLMs are using MapQuest, pulling in from Yelp. So out of, I want to say like, yeah. So in like ChatGPT was pulling in from Yelp. It wasn't referencing the Google Business. So I'm like, oh my goodness, now we actually have to work with Yelp. So we did. Nate helped. I was like, Nate, we need some help. So we went on a review binge and asking friends and family. And so April 2026, we got, 6 reviews up? And so 3.7. So we moved it up, right? So now we're a little bit better territory when it comes to the review. But we just had to pivot, all right?
I know some group practice owners that did a Google review competition and like had
Yeah.
cash prizes
Oh,
for
yeah.
clinicians that could solicit the most.
Yeah, I call it like a review roundup. Like if you're in a mastermind or if you're on a group call, just, hey, let's just throw all our Google business reviews. Now there's a new thing you have to watch is that you can't, Google's watching if you're actually mentioning people's names. They don't want you to do that anymore. Like, hey, Nate or Brent's really great at TheraSaaS or whatever. Like if they start seeing a ton of reviews going, they might disallow it if they're seeing a bunch of names. So that's recent as of like 3 weeks ago.
From our last conference, we all like reviewed each other, and I probably had 10 or 12, and Google took them all down. Well, A, they probably mentioned my name, and B, it was like a ton of reviews within like an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Each other and
Now you may be able to go back to Google. Hey, these are legitimate reviews. Yeah, and they still. Oh yeah, it's a hot mess. So try it again. Maybe spread it out. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like you can't win.
Like they essentially blocked colleague reviews. So if people are saying like, I referred to Melissa,
Yeah.
like Melissa's practice is well built. Like you just want them to say like, great place for couples.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Like so generic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Sound like a client. That's right. Strategy number 2, build your brand authority. I'm only going to have 2 slides on this. That was the first slide. Now here's the second one. So if your brand is being talked about on Google, you want your brand being talked about. Those are signs to Google that this could be relevant. So any web mentions, branded anchors. If you speak anywhere or do anything nice for somebody and that involves, you can get a link back to your website. Get a link back to your website. Get a link and have it mention your name. Okay. So that's a whole other topic which we don't have time for, but building your brand. I think having a monthly newsletter now is non-negotiable. You have to have a monthly newsletter. This is a guy that I follow, Jay. He's out of Ohio. He says email somehow still underrated. Every Sunday, my emails are sent to about 50,000 people, opened by 43%, unsubscribed by 100, read by people I respect and admire, sponsored by companies, people I believe in, resulting in hundreds of thousands of purchases. Now, he sells courses, but if you have an email newsletter, they will not, maybe half of them open it up, but they still see your brand in the inbox. They will share your newsletter if it's important. So they'll share it with friends and family. I just hear this all the time. So it's like, if you want to grow a brand, you got to have a newsletter, because then people will then Google your name, right? Which is another brand mention. But this is the basic, and I won't get into it for time, but the ROI on newsletters is huge. All right. Conversion dominance. And here's the other thing. Algorithms will change. LMs will change. But if you have a newsletter, you have direct access to that person. You have direct, yeah, right? Yeah, it's right there. So here's my thing. You need to have a newsletter. I call it the 111 newsletter. One helpful insight. So share a micro win, breathing techniques, whatever. Share a helpful insight. You guys have endless amount of information to share with people. Practice update. So maybe behind the scenes, maybe it's a new hire, maybe it's a new office. And then one clear call to action. Maybe it's just view the new hire or click on the blog or watch this helpful video. Just a 111. So, and I'll say, like in TheraSaaS, you can automatically build your newsletter list, which is great. And so as people are signing up with your forms, it's all right there, and you can just send a newsletter out. Makes it real easy. You don't need to have another platform. Thank you. I'm blowing through this here. Diversify your marketing channels. Why you want to do that? You just can't solely rely on Google anymore. It was really easy to, but now you have to. Clicks are down, but people are still looking to buy your services. So we already talked about an email. Let's talk a little bit about YouTube. YouTube's a search engine. Google owns it. So they own number 1 and 2 largest in the world. And we're seeing AI search, LLMs are starting to cite them more and more. And of course, Google is going to cite its own property and recommend its own property, like Google Maps and YouTube. If this is a reversal from earlier periods when Reddit was the dominant social source. If you haven't started a YouTube channel, you probably should. Now we could talk about that later, what that looks like. And then actually, I've been revisiting social media. Because Google Business Profile now allows you to link your social media to it. And they're updating their recommendations in real time. So like for restaurants, today, spicy Thai pork burger, that wasn't on their website. That was actually on their Facebook page. And in real time updated their Google Business Profile. So Google's scanning stuff, y'all. They're scanning everything, even their competitors. Okay. All right. So what does that mean? So maybe you need to think about social media strategy. I have to now, so make sure you add all your profiles to your Google business, even though if people aren't going to click on it, Google's scanning it. Okay. Here's how I would recommend your social media ranked. I'd say start with the YouTube. Nate started YouTube. He's doing it for his business. And then Facebook, Instagram, then tier 3. This could all change, but I would say probably start with YouTube, Facebook, then LinkedIn. I mean, if you want to go into the TikTok, go for it. Go where you like.
Is the YouTube or like specifically just because you can put some keywords in the videos?
Yeah. So that title is keyword rich, and then you have Google's going to analyze that transcript. Yeah. So it's just words. That's what LLMs. It's all word based. Some video based, but they want to read everything. So, and there's like a whole YouTube strategy about what to say in the first 6 to 10 seconds and all that stuff for rankings. Now, this is a lot. Action items. Well, TheraSaaS has a social media scheduler too, to kind of just keep it all simple. So I'm going to wrap up here. Almost. I'll wrap up here on it. Then I'll move into a couple things. Some live searches. All right. So AI search, Google Ads, SEO. Now you can have all the best of these things. And I'm going to talk about TheraSaaS for just 30 seconds or so. None of this really matters if client leads are falling through the cracks. Okay, so you can have all the stuff set up in your ranking. So this is my wife. We were using a spreadsheet to capture clients and organize them. 60 new clients leads a month. We had 80 on the wait list. Client leads were falling through the cracks. Communication with client leads were on different platforms, so there's very little transparency about how our intake team was responding to them, when they were. Have you ever had that, like, wake up in the middle of the night, you're like, I wonder if we ever got back to that person, right? Yeah, and then they're like, oh, I don't have time to go look at it. Well, if you centralize it, that makes it a lot easier. And then also, I just didn't have a lot of accurate sales and marketing data to make critical decisions. So the saying is, the riches are in the niches, the fortune's in the follow-up. And TheraSaaS is all about that follow-up process, okay? 3 levels of using a CRM real quick. One is just level 1, centralize your leads so no one's falling through the cracks, and you get them in a pipeline that kind of looks like this. All right, so this is going to replace those Google Sheets so everyone knows where everyone is at in the different stages of becoming a paying client. Then you want to think about centralizing your communication. So text messages, email, using automations. So it's all in one place. So you never know when you didn't respond to them. It's all right there, and it's all HIPAA compliant. And then level 3, I say centralize your marketing, so your social media, your newsletter, and then you can have real-time dashboards, and so you can just see how everything's doing, and it's all in one place. And then you have these really helpful dashboards to see how many leads came in, how they were converted, all of that. So once you have a CRM, all those things I think start to fall into place. Client leads are no longer falling through the cracks. Communication with your client leads are centralized, so there's transparency and accountability, which is really important. And then you have accurate sales and marketing data. All right, so I'm going to put this up here. If you want to scan this, it's a TheraSaaS form. You'll get a video recording of this talk once I edit it. You'll get a homepage SEO checklist, video, a Google Business checklist, a link to a Chrome extension to help be able to read your SEO on your page, AI prompts I'm going to share with you, and then also you get a chance to have 10% off TheraSaaS if you're interested. All right, I'm trying to end early so you all get out there to the lunch boxes first. All right, so, oh, yeah, So I'm just real quick, can I get, what's kind of the first thing you think you need to do after this talk? What do you think? Like, here's one thing I think I need to focus on. Yeah, that's like foundation. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what else? Well, not here. I'll explain.
I want to go back and edit all of our YouTube videos and make sure that the headers and all of the descriptive text is really keyword rich, but also like for humans. Yeah, because I didn't realize it was feeding that heavily.
Oh yeah, Google's always been doing it, I think, but now they're starting to,
Okay. For the YouTube stuff, do you have recommendations about like how long these videos need to be? Like,
I say as long as you can keep somebody's attention. It could be like you could totally do 30 if that's it. But if I do long 45, 50-minute videos. I do a lot of deep dives. That's my thing, like this. And then I would just go really high. Yeah, like that's my style. I like that. I just want to give all away this stuff for free in the hopes that somebody just gets overwhelmed with leads and they need TheraSaaS. So I'm just giving all my knowledge. So I would say, I just start simple though. Do like a 3-minute, like here's what I'm thinking about as it relates to mental health for today, or whatever your niche is. And just put it out there. And then you could turn that into a blog, throw it into Claude, have it structure it. You know what I mean? I say I have a whole other talk on this on a video first content strategies, like the video flywheel. So once you have the video, you have all the text, and then you can do a lot with that. Did that answer your question? I don't know if I did. Okay. All right. Yeah. Another question?
I was going to ask, is there a big difference in strategy for a virtual only practice versus a physical location, right? Because you showed like the local map and those things.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
if the practice is virtual only, is there a big difference in, hey, do these things first instead?
Yeah, it's a massive lift. It's like advertise, build a brand, build a brand, build a brand, because yeah, I still think if you can have some sort of a little office presence, that's really important because that Google business profile is a helpful asset to have. And when Google's making recommendations, I think it's very difficult to build a virtual only practice because there's a lot of people doing it. You got Headway, you got so much, and they got bottomless pockets. They brought like 6 people with them to this conference. I'm like, that's expensive, but they got money to spend because their whole idea is to grow, and then sell. That's software.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question, Nate, too, because we are a digital health
Mhm.
company too.
Yeah.
We did take a little VC at the beginning.
Yeah.
I have a question around multidisciplinary clinics. How does that work? Because I know you focused on like the therapist, what's the name of the therapist, but for multidisciplinary, what will we list so that we could be found? Since
I would find all the ones like whatever it's I don't know if WebMD, some of the health grade. I don't know. Like you just do some sort. I mean, we can take a look at it right now and just that could be one of the things that we do is just put in your brand and see. But it's harder to do multidisciplinary because I think LLMs are looking for niches. So you have to have your data on your website, your pages like dialed in, like big, chunky, juicy informational pages supported with everything else and links to it and content flaky. Like it's a heavy lift. It's just really hard. Yeah. I'm so discouraged by some of this stuff, but I'm also helpful, like hopeful as well. But yeah, it's just a lot harder these days.